What's cracking, guys? Omar Isaf here, out on the outside once again. Welcome to my lovely pad. We'll give you a crib tour, but not in this video. I have so much to talk about. I want to talk about fat loss. Why? Well, I'm getting all these DMs. Yo, Omar, help me out. Spring break's approaching. I want to get abs. I want to get 100 girls on the beach.
This is the type of body that you want to get. This type of body will get you 100 girls on the beach.
What the hell should I be doing? How do I maximize fat loss? Well, guess what, Skippy? If that's you, if you're curious, if you want to know how to maximize fat loss, this is the video for you. I'm talking specifically because there is a lot of information today about nutrition only if you want to see a follow-up companion piece on this as it relates to training, because you need to be methodical, you need to be intelligent with your training in order to maximize fat loss. Like this video, let's go with 4,000 likes, okay? So like the video if you want to see the follow-up. Oh, 5. You heard the man, Aus Balloon Popper Hardstyle Hummus, 5,000 likes, and we'll do a follow-up video. This one's talking all about nutrition. And before I go on, the last thing I will say is that myself, Sam Mike, Bart Kwan came together to form Kaizen Training. We recently released our advanced fat loss program that goes over all this and so much more, because there is a lot of information as it relates to trying to maximize fat loss. New program, it's 40% off right now for this week. Get it, kaizentraining.com, link in the description. You know we only put out good content. Let's go, let's get started. So you want to lose weight, cool. You need to decide a few different things. And what I mean when I say that, well, what's your timeline? For this video today, I'm going to talk specifically about a 12-week cut. Why? Well, I think 12 to 16 weeks is a pretty good range for an individual to try and go through a fat loss period. Past that point, then a couple different things occur. The first one, the most major one, is for a lot of people from a psychological standpoint, they kind of get, you know, a little squirrely. They can't stand cutting for a longer period of time, where they get hungry all the time, where their mood is just whack, where their training is affected to a large extent. I think 12 to 16 weeks is probably the right amount for a lot of individuals, especially with their goals. If you want to lose right now, I'm going to assume you're probably in your low 20% body fat, maybe 21, 22, on the end range, maybe around 18 or 19%, and you basically just want to get abs. I think if you're at 18% body fat, in 12 weeks you can get abs. And I think to maximize fat loss, you got to do a couple different things. I talked previously about the slow and steady cut, which I am a fan of in order to maintain strength. You kind of have to let that go out the window if you want to maximize fat loss in a specific amount of time. So when we talk about calories, and you should know what you're eating at maintenance, you should be tracking your calories. I'm going to make that one assumption before I go forward. You want to be in a pretty large deficit, whereas a slow, sustained cut would be about 10% below maintenance. Here, we're going to start for maximizing fat loss in a 12-week period at 15% below maintenance. So if you eat 3,000 calories, roughly speaking, every single day, we're going to start you, I think it'd be at 2,550 would be your starting calories on this cut. From there, you're going to keep reducing every single week, roughly 3%, roughly 3%. It works out actually to about 2.5% every week, your total amount of calories. So much so that by the end of the 12 weeks, you're eating at 60% of your maintenance calories. That's not a whole lot of food. If, again, your maintenance, and we're using this as an example, is 3,000, that means by the end, you'll be eating 1,800 calories. But this is necessary. It's necessary because we need to be really pushing how hard you train and how few calories you eat. You need to create that deficit. And you want to make sure, because, yeah, you will hit maybe a minor plateau. You might stall a little bit, but we want to make sure fat loss is occurring every single week. And your body is smart. It adapts to things. It doesn't want to lose the fat. It wants to hold on to that shit. If you use fat, you might think aesthetically it doesn't look good, but what your body thinks in a survival kind of standpoint is, oh, fat's good. That's stored extra energy. So you need to be creating a pretty large deficit. Okay, so we talked about calories. Let's move on then to macronutrients. Well, we could answer the protein question pretty quickly, and that is that protein, I think from a satiety standpoint, how satiated you are from an individual, I think keeping protein high is important. I think if you're at least relatively lean, so let's say you're 20%, 21, 22 or below body fat percentage, then what you can do is eat roughly 1 gram per pound of body weight. If you are overweight, then do 1 gram per pound of lean body weight when it comes to protein. Okay, cool. We know protein. Now we talk about whether we want to keep it unicaloric or if we want to vary the calories each day. Unicaloric means every single day of the week you eat the exact same amount of calories. And again, there are a couple different ways to do this. You don't have to eat the exact same amount of calories every single day. What we will change in this program is how many carbohydrates we eat day to day. We will use something called carb cycling. It's not something fancy or magical that's going to produce, superior results. I do think it's easier when it comes to training to get your mind in the game if you eat more carbohydrates on the harder training days. So for this program, you'll have high carb days, medium carb days, and low carb days. High carb days are going to occur when you're training very hard. This means on your lower body days, the days you're lifting a lot of weight. I'm going to assume, and for the advanced fat loss program that we have that we just released, it's a 5-day training split. We want to have 2 high carb days, so those are your 2 hardest training sessions. The rest of the training days will be medium, so those are 3 other days, and then 2 low carb days. How do we figure out high carb, medium carb, or low carb? Well, for high carb, we're going to talk about fat. So from maintenance, you're just going to calculate roughly whatever your calories are supposed to be. So let's say you're 15% below maintenance for week 1. From whatever that amount is, you're going to do 1 gram per pound of body weight. So that's a certain amount of calories. And then the second one that you can figure out will be fat. On high carb days, you're only eating 25% of your calories coming from fat. On medium carb days, 30%. And then on lower carb days, it'd be 35% of your total calories come from fat. You can figure out carbohydrates then from the rest of those 2 macronutrients being figured out. Once you know your protein and your fat, then your remaining calories, well, those are your carbohydrates. It does get more complicated than that. And then I would change your fat consumption week to week just to make sure that your body, again, is not adapting. But that's a basic outline. Unicaloric, so you eat the same amount of calories, but you change up on the day what you eat so you have more energy. You will find, again, especially if you're trying to maximize fat loss, you won't have a whole lot of energy because, again, you're eating less nutrition than your body needs. You're training still hard because you're trying to maintain that muscle mass and you're in a pretty big deficit, but it's all to try and lose the most amount of weight in the least amount of time. So we want to make sure we're smart with our macronutrients and we want to make sure we're smart with our calories. The last thing I will say is that you should have at some point a refeed week just to give your body a break, give your mind a break, that psychological break from feeling like you're dieting. Whatever week you decide, I would say it's roughly at the 8-week mark. So after 2 months of doing your fat loss program, you should have a refeed week where you bump up the calories by anywhere between 10 to 15% extra for that entire week. So you're kind of chilling out, giving your body a break, and then you resume from there. So refeed is important, again, just from a body, from a performance, from how you feel and how you move day to day. That's the basic outline when it comes to advanced fat loss, trying to maximize weight loss. You need to figure out your calories, you need to figure out your macronutrients, and you need to be smart about this. Yeah, it is relatively straightforward, but there's a lot of tricks, as you can tell from here, in order to try and lose the most amount of weight in the least amount of time. Take it from Homer Serve Clam, who will, in 2018, with the help of Eric Helms, now Dr. Eric Helms, be maximizing my fat loss towards the end of 2018. Stay tuned for that. Anyways, I hope this helps you guys out. I'll have some of this information in the description if you couldn't follow along and you're like, fuck man, numbers, what's going on? I thought I was just supposed to not eat as much food and I'll lose weight. Yeah, to some extent, but if you want to maximize aesthetics, maximize how much actual fat you lose and not just total amount of weight, so you're also, catabolizing some of your muscle, you need to be thinking. Anyways, if you liked the video, make sure to like the damn video. And lastly, for those that do want to maximize fat loss and are looking for a great program, we just released the Advanced Fat Loss Program. I highly recommend it. I stand behind it. It is currently 40% off for this week. Grab it at kaizentraining.com. Link in the description. I'll see all you guys, my rascals, in that next one. Peace.
Your motives inside, decisions to hide. Back off, I'll take you on. Headstrong to take on anyone. I know that you are wrong. Strong, we're headstrong. Back off, I'll take you on. Headstrong to take on anyone. I know that you are wrong, and this is not where you belong.
Oh, my hand!
Eat your vegetables, eat your vegetables, eat your fucking vegetables.
we'll see all you guys, my rascals, in that next video.